Hello and welcome to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce, and it's time for a little
The starting fives for our game. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First for Atlanta, Jeff Teague and Lou Williams, the backcourt. And holding down the middle, a tremendously hard-working and versatile big man out of the Dominican Republic, Al Horford. Then there's Kyle Korver, and it's Millsap in at the power forward position. And looking at the Pacers, George Hill at the 1, Paul George at the 2, and starting 7'2", one of the true giants in the game, another great big man out of Georgetown, Roy Hibbert. Then there's Danny Granger, and it's West in at the 4-man position.
And you know, you talk about Frank Vogel, guys, and the Pacers. It seemed he won over his roster from the moment he took over. He placed a lot of confidence and trust in his players, and most importantly, brought a breath of positivity and positive energy to that locker room and to that team.
Williams against George. It's back to Hill. Kicks it to Granger. It's blocked. Knocked away. Here in the first, a little over a minute played so far. Right side, Williams. All alone. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. And back to Vogel, he really helped instill the identity of this Pacers team of toughness and defense, and Steve, that willingness to battle.
Yeah, it's a perfect fit with their personnel. The way he motivates this team to defend and play. With that edge, I just love this group, the Pacers team, the talent, along with Frank Vogel, just a really nice fit.
For Atlanta, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Horford against Granger. Here's Korver for 3. Kept alive by Atlanta.
Kind of a shaky first few minutes, guys. 5 field goal attempts, only 1 made.
Williams against Hill. Back to George. The feed to Granger. Backing down. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
You know, when Danny Granger was out with injury last season, he saw that the Pacers team had become really Paul George's and Roy Hibbert's team as they became the new faces. While some would throw a fit about it, Granger said he was proud of them and happy to take a lesser role. He just wants to get back out there.
Both shots good from the strike. And when Granger is healthy, Steve, he's certainly a great player.
Well, you love his versatility, his ability to play both ends of the floor. A tough defender who can guard multiple positions. Offensively, he can put it on the floor, get to the rim. He's got three-point range. But really an excellent all-around player.
There it is, guys. That Olay defense. Just watching him go, Clark, right by.
I think we might be seeing which team is ready to take control of this game.
Yeah, that's a dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
The basket counts as 1. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it a three-point play.
Well, he's an exciting young player. Almost 6'10", great athleticism, length, dynamic finisher at the rim, and he can guard multiple positions defensively.
And you know what, Steve? His growth defensively has been just as impressive. He uses that length to great advantage, contesting shots and coming away with deflections and steals.
Now here is Horford. Teague gets to Millsap. On the left block, West with the ball. And as it goes out of bounds, Atlanta able to keep the ball here. Lock at 6. Williams finds himself wide open and drills it.
Boy, you can't run an inbounds play any better than that right there. Well, if the Pacers wanted to grab the attention of the league with their postseason play, they certainly did that. They marched through the first 2 rounds by knocking off the Hawks and the Knicks. And, boy, remember, they were a game away from the NBA Finals.
Rising high to throw that one down.
Sky high, fantastic one-hand jam.
Boy, what a way to wrap up that possession.
A nice shot by Teague. Teague's got his first points in this one.
Defense just has to fight over the top of those screens.
Especially when the ball is in his hands. I mean, he doesn't miss too many open shots.
Now here is Hill. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Hill gets a screen from West. Hill kicks to Granger. Granger can't get that one to fall. Ultimately, the Pacers would fall to the Heat, but they put them to the test. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They gained respect league-wide even more than they had going into the playoffs. It took 7 games, Clark, and you saw them all, which a lot of folks didn't see coming.
I know that's the case, and yet the way the Pacers showed such grit in that series, it indicates they can compete with anybody. And you have a defensive anchor like they do in Roy Hibbert, they've got a chance to be a championship team before long.
Yeah, the defender draped all over him.
Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there. The Hawks made the playoffs again, but ended up losing in the first round to the Pacers in 6 games. Dropped the first 2 in Indiana, won the next 2 in Atlanta, but it all ended when the Pacers got them in Game 6.
Damari Carroll's checked in for Kyle Korver. Now here's Teague. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Clark, a lot of give and take between these sides early.
Kevin, how about 6 lead changes in this half already?
Yeah, good one here, guys. This is going to be fun to watch. 2 evenly matched teams, both teams playing hard.
Well, for the Hawks, it's been 6 consecutive seasons with basically this group. Certainly Joe Johnson left as a free agent to Brooklyn. But, Steve, they have yet to get past the second round in any of those playoff runs.
I think that's why they decided to part ways with Josh Smith and originally with Joe Johnson 2 seasons ago, just to make that next step, to start fresh. And they may take a dip here, but I think the future does look bright. How about that? They respond to a 3-pointer with a quick 3 of their own.
Yeah, terrific. Great back-and-forth sequence right there.
Now, here is Hill. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Granger for the 3.
And it seems like nothing is falling for him this quarter. He's really out of his rhythm.
And Hill with the block. For Indiana, they've gotten 3 of 8 shots to fall for them here in the first quarter. Williams with the steal. Teague with the ball. He's picked up by Hill. Millsap passes to Teague. Hawks passing it around. Williams kicks to Teague. Back to Williams. From outside, off the mark.
Well-contested shot, and they did an excellent job of not fouling the shooter.
Defense is about effort and commitment and discipline. He's a good defender because of those things.
And that one's good. 6 points for Danny Granger.
And the lead goes right back over. This is a seesaw affair.
The game's there for the taking, but neither team seems to want it.
Here's Teague, and David West gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game.
They tried to step in and cut him off, but just not quick enough.
And we have the benefit of replay, but I think they got that one right, which is the case most times, even though fans don't think so.
Dishes to Williams. The tray, and that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Teague's got 3 assists in the game.
He is just tearing it up this quarter. That lead's not going anywhere while he's this high.
Hill kicks to George. The kick out to Hill. Tried to come right back with the three of his own, but it's no good. And let's get this update now from Doris Brooke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Yes, Frank Vogel and I got a chance to talk for a bit. He talked about the impact that Al Horford can have on a game and how they'll have their work cut out for them dealing with him. He said Horford's just a complete ball player. He does all the things you want from a big man. He can shoot, handle, and pass. He's always a tough matchup, but it starts with matching his energy level. Kevin, we'll see if they have what it takes.
And as always, Doris, thank you. And Williams, here we go. It's rebounded by Indiana. It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here.
You know, in order to win your division, you have to be able to win games against the rest of your conference, and that's exactly what Indiana did last season. Tough team and a tough division, and they gave no ground to other teams in the East.
And the Pacers, as you mentioned, Clark, very solid against the other teams in the East as they would cruise to a 31-20 record against the rest of the conference.
And really, that's because this team is built to handle anything that's thrown at them. Kevin, it's a big, strong, kind of old-school team that will pound you inside, they rebound, they protect the paint. There aren't a lot of matchups that seem to bother this team.
You know, last season the Hawks were a solid team on the road. Nothing spectacular. Really what you'd expect from a 3 seed in the East. Ended the year with a 19-22 road record. Not bad.
The Pacers making a switch here. Watson's checked in. Well, Clark, you said it about the Hawks last year, 19-22 on the road. You really need to hover around 500 on the road. Don't you think, Steve, to position yourself for the playoffs?
No question. As long as you can control your home court and get a good record there, then 500 on the road is just fine. But this is a Hawks team that's looking to take the next step, Kevin, to really becoming elite. They've been kind of stuck in the middle for a while now.
Here's Teague. Paul George making his last shot. He feeds it to Carroll. He kicks it to Horford. 6 on the shot clock. And Scola with the block. Indiana leading by 3.
Well, you knew with no Joe Johnson in Atlanta anymore that the extra shots to go around. Al Horford got a few of them, and with Johnson's departure, it's one of the reasons he had more field goal attempts than in any season of his career.
Now here's Williams. He's guarded by Stevenson. Williams attacking, and it's blocked by Watson. Carroll kicks to Teague. There's the pass to Williams. And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. Judge Higgins checked in for Lou Williams. For Indiana, they've gone 8 of 14 from the field in the first quarter. Steve, you talked about Horford scoring last season, upping his scoring rate over 17 points a game.
I really liked his efficiency, Kevin. Remained efficient even as he added to his point totals. He continues to be a very underrated jump shooter. Is a more physical player than he gets credit for being, and that mid-range stroke of his is something that is as good as anybody's in the league for his size.
Shoots a fader, rebounded by Luis Scola.
Things have kind of gone south for him here in the quarter.
Watson dishes to Granger. Passes it to Stevenson. Sinks the three-pointer. Stevenson's got 5 now.
Well, Mike Budenholzer, you know, the new coach of the Hawks, spent 19 years with the San Antonio Spurs, including 17 as an assistant. Boy, you couldn't ask for a better teaching ground than that.
Here's Jenkins. And the foul on Elton Brand. That's his first foul. Pacers leading by 8. Here is Watson. He dishes it to Stevenson. Granger. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. That one is on Brand. And back to Budenholzer, who was with the Spurs for 19 years. Steve, the Spurs, the winningest team in pro sports over the last 15 years.
Yeah, I'm glad that Budenholzer has finally gotten his chance. I played for him for 4 seasons. He's a guy who loves the game. He's very dedicated, hardworking, and has learned from probably the best coach in the NBA during his time in San Antonio.
Paul Millsap's checked in for Atlanta. The Hawks trail by 10. Clark, they've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a little bit of cottonmouth here. Dry spell for sure.
Schroeder off a pick from Millsap. Schroeder kicks to Millsap. Drops one in from the wing. And it's the Pacers with the ball. 1:56 left in the first. And Stevenson kicks to Granger. Pass to Stevenson. Feeds to Copeland. 6 to shoot. The dish now to Scola. And shot on the way. Rebounded by the Hawks. Jenkins with it. Kicks to Carroll. He passes to Jenkins. Tries again. And he draws body contact. Looked like a blocking foul, and he was in the shooting motion. We'll head to the free throw line. They get Danny Granger. And taking a quick look here, guys, at the hustle starts for Indiana.
Boy, you have to admire their intensity in the paint defensively. I mean, really contesting and even blocking shots. Definitely a factor early.
And they're getting out in transition, too, finding some easy points on the fast break.
Now here's Granger. 8 points for him. We've got 1:08 left to play here in the first. Nice follow through on the fadeaway.
He shouldn't be afraid to take that shot more often. He's solid from there.
Here's Schroeder. He's covered by Watson. Hit his leg. And it's being called a kickball. There's 53 seconds left in the first quarter. For Atlanta, they have looked good at the line. They're perfect in 4 attempts.
Well, 72% as a team last year from the free throw line, so the struggles continue, guys.
And it's something they know that if they improve, can really have a big impact on their success.
Hawks making a switch here. Korver's checked in. Here is Watson. Back to Granger.
Yeah, close, but I didn't think he got on balance quickly enough.
It's hard to draw charges as quick as players are at this level. That's not an easy bit of work there.
And this is his 3rd trip to the line tonight.
Well, and you know, you'll take what you can from him from the foul line. A season ago, he shot in that low 60% range.
And because he struggled with his free throw shooting so much last season, I thought he was hesitant at times to be aggressive. He wasn't looking to draw contact and was trying to avoid getting to the foul line.
Gets it to go.
He had a whole lot of space to get that shot out.
Yeah, I don't think the defender did a good job there of getting over the top of the screen.
Watson kicks to Granger. The feed to Stevenson. Money from the wing. Stevenson's got 7. 16 seconds left here in the first quarter. Schroeder passes to Korver. Good if it goes. And it is good at the buzzer. Wow!
Oh, what a 3 at the horn. They end the quarter on a high note. What a big shot.
I'll say that'll put a little bounce in their step coming back out of this.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And when you consider how the Pacers are doing, Steve and Clark, what do you think?
And they set the tone there defensively with their shot blocking, which they've been really intimidating down in the paint area.
You know, in the rest of the game, Steve, shooters will be looking around for the shot blockers because of what's happened in this quarter.
And Stevenson kicks it to West. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, you got to love the season from David West last year, coming off the ACL tear back in 2011. I think he's completely back as far as that injury is concerned. He was so good last year, particularly in the playoffs.
And David West, Clark, a locker room leader for the Pacers last season, helped lead them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and a guy I know that you greatly admire.
Oh, my goodness. Love the way he does his work. I call him Real Deal 21. There's nothing fluffy about what he gets done, and he's so smart and so savvy in how he approaches the game and really a lion in the locker room for the Pacers. That's why that team was so tough in many ways, particularly defensively.
A little shot fake there, got the D out of position. West has got 4 this quarter.
It's the kind of finish we've gotten used to seeing from him in the low post.
Schroeder off a pick from Millsap. Here's Korver. Second chance shot. Hangs in the air. Here's Brand. Well, it was only a matter of time, but they finally get the bucket.
Boy, he crashed the boards with purpose right there. Well-deserved second chance points for him.
And here's Watson. Millsap with the double team. Stevenson kicks to Hibbert. Lays it up and in off the pretty assist.
Love the interior passing. He knew exactly where to go with that ball.
The Hawks trail by 8.
Well, Indiana's success last season was built around its defensive prowess, and they usually would set the tone at the start of the game. They were one of the best in the league at allowing the fewest first-quarter points.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Hey guys, Roy Hibbert was 17th overall pick back in 2008, but there were concerns about him, that he was too slow, not athletic enough. Hibbert said, people said I wouldn't be in the NBA. People said I wouldn't be a starting center. I just proved people wrong. Hopefully I'll be the best when it's all said and done. The best? He added, quote, I will be the best center in the league one day. With his remarkable improvement thus far, he's not far off.
Well, you combine that size and that will to dominate. He's become a big factor. Great stuff there. Thanks. Just 5 on the clock. And here's Korver from the arc. Another 3 for Atlanta. Going back to the Pacers once more, you knew they wanted to emphasize defense each game, and Steve, they would always come out and get right in the offensive player's face to start the game.
And they allowed the fewest first-quarter points of any team in the league last year, Kevin. That's a great way to kind of set the tempo, set the tone in a ball game, and the Pacers were able to establish that defense right away.
Schroeder passes to Millsap. That ties the game. Millsap's got 8. The Pacers have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. And for those of you just joining us, in the second quarter with about 3 minutes gone by. Backing down is Hibbert. That's good. And the Pacers lead by 2.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening, Steve.
No, it's off the charts. It really is. And defensively, I mean, they have to start shutting down some of those lanes to the hoop.
And here's Korver from the arc. Roy Hibbert with the rebound.
Boy, even though he missed, you can't give up that kind of a look very often.
Yeah, they're lucky that they didn't get burned on that one.
It's back to Hill. Hibbert with a screen for Hill. Puts the lead pass in front of him. No good off the pick.
You know, they haven't been able to open up a big lead, but the rebounds are starting to add up for them. They may be able to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, they've been doing the dirty work inside, Steve, playing a very tough brand of basketball.
And the Hawks making a change here. Horford's checked in. And the whistle blows in the backcourt violation. He went over and back. The Pacers making a switch here. Rangers checked in. Indiana leading. Outside, George. Good, and Hill picking up the assist. 17 points for Paul George.
Not trying to rattle any rims or racks there. Just up and in with the finger roll.
Williams kicks to T. Pass to Horford. He's against Hibbert. Fades. Gets it to go. Horford's got his second bucket.
I like the way they're working the ball inside, because when you do that, you get higher percentage shots, and typically good things happen.
Now Hill. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. That's good.
And he's shaking off a poor first-quarter shooting effort. He's really starting to turn it on now, guys.
And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. Pacers leading by 4. Outside, George. And Kyle Korver picks up the foul. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far.
Looked to me like the defender didn't get squared up and get his feet set.
Good work by the officials. A nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
Hill kicks to George. And he gets the friendly spin, and that one drops. And it's a 6-point Pacer lead.
That's their third straight make-off and assist. Boy, the ball movement's been fantastic here the last few possessions.
Dishes it to Williams. Back to Teague. Shot clock at 6. Horford with the screen on Hill. Teague the pass to Horford. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Teague's got his 4th assist in this one. Hill gets a screen from West. Hill dishes to West. Unloads from 13. Rebound Atlanta. Teague sets a screen for Williams. Korver outside Teague. He feeds it to Williams. They'll set up a screen on George. Beyond the arc. And it's rejected. And it's out of bounds to the Hawks as Atlanta retains possession. 4 on the shot clock. Here's Teague. Can't get it to go. And Indiana will come the other way. They've led by as much as 10. The shot by George, no good.
You see the defenders get out of his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the bucket, but not that time.
Teague's got space. That one off the back iron and out.
He has not been on his game. And, you know, their deficit isn't totally on him, but he has not helped the situation.
And George, here we go. Here's Granger. That one goes. Granger's got 13.
Man, a gaping hole in the defense that time, and he didn't waste any time getting through it.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
And yes, sir, that one drops. And so it's Indiana with it. 4-point game. Hill gets a screen from West. Hill drives in. Granger for the 3. Good. That's Hill picking up the assist. 16 points for Danny Granger.
Well, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. It's not something you should get away from.
Well, Danny Granger played only portions of 5 games last season, guys, and basically was trying to overcome a torn patella tendon in his left knee. Had to be terribly frustrating for him.
Pacers leading by 5. Now, here is Hill. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Hibbert kicks it to West, and that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession. Damari Carroll's checked in for Atlanta. George hits a 2-pointer from out in the wing. He knocks it down. George has got 21. And a long way back for Danny Granger.
Yeah, I know the frustration dealing with a lot of knee issues of my own in my career. It's difficult when you have to face that year after year. Hopefully Granger will be able to come back and maintain, regain, I should say, that all-star form that he once showed. He could be a huge addition to this Pacer team.
A team right on the cusp, and that trip coming up empty, missing both.
For the last decade or so, Atlanta has been pretty consistent. Always seems to find a way to get to the playoffs, and part of that is they've been pretty good against the Eastern Conference.
Sure. And again, it's Indiana.
And he's made the most of his chances, hasn't he? He really needs to continue to work for those good looks.
Here's Teague. Outside Williams. He kicks to Horford. West is there. Fade away. Horford no up. And for Atlanta last season, 29 wins against the rest of the conference. Steve, not an amazing total, but ending up over 500 usually gets you a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference.
And a lot of people worried that they would fall out of the picture last year after they traded away Joe Johnson. You know, they're not a team that can contend for a title, particularly not now with the departure of Josh Smith. But hey, they're relevant in the East, and they've got some good young talent.
And Granger with the block. They get it back. Second shot opportunity, and Horford with the lay-in. Horford's got 8 points.
In the first, he had trouble hitting with any consistency. But here in the second, he's turned it around.
Last setting the pick for Hill. Back to West. Second chance effort. He takes it up and brings it in. West has got 8 points in the quarter.
What a big-time mismatch it's been in the post. Where's the defensive adjustment? They're getting housed down there.
They sure are. You got to come up with something. A double team, maybe a substitution, but this is getting ridiculous. I'll tell you what, he's enjoyed a very good day shooting the ball so far. He can bring them right back into this.
Wants to screen on Teague. Hill passes to Scola. Pulls up on the wing. Rebound Atlanta. Horford's got 4 rebounds now tonight. Teague with the ball. He's picked up by Hill. Williams dishes to Carroll. Scola on him. Carroll kicks to Horford. 6 to shoot. He faded back on that one to give himself some room. Horford's got 12 in the game.
What a quarter for him at the offensive end. He's ignored the scoreboard and continued to go out there and do his thing.
And George, here we go. Fader on the way. It's rebounded by Corver.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get too many better looks from that range.
Here's Williams. It's rebounded by Indiana. West has got rebound number 8 here tonight in the game. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Well, you look at Paul George, my man, PG 24, the young swingman out of Fresno State. Boy, he had a terrific year last season, was the most improved player last season, and the first-time NBA All-Star. You consider how young he is, just turned 23, and he's got the potential to make plenty more All-Star games, and I think he could ultimately be the Defensive Player of the Year at some time in his career.
Teague gets a screen from Horford. Carroll passes to Teague. It's going by Hill. And oh, here we go with Hill. Nobody back. The fast break ends at the rim with the jam.
Boy, I love it. Active hand on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
And for Paul George, the 10th pick back in 2010, what a terrific find for the Pacers.
Well, he was already a good player, but I think the injury to Danny Granger last season created the opportunity for George to really emerge as an all-star. And that's exactly what he did. Dangerous inside and out, excellent defensive player, has a chance to be really special.
Hill with it, picked up by Teague. Here's Stevenson. Shot is off. Good work defensively by Horford. The Hawks trail by 9. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. Williams with the ball. Now defended by Stevenson.
No need to rush it. They can play for one shot.
And I think they should wait till about the 5-second mark to go for it.
It's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
It's Williams with the drive. And it's sent back by George. Got it up. Got it off in time, but it's no good. The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Pacers out in front.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
NBA basketball on a Saturday night. Oh, the perfect weekend activity. Family friendly and a whole bunch of fun. Let's check out the action. Indiana with the lead against Atlanta. Offensively, they've been in
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters.
Just absolute domination in this one for George. 25 points, and he can do 6 points on the free throw line. That's nice work.
He's helping their cause, finding some easy points through penetration and attacking the defense.
Williams against Hill. Williams kicks to Millsap. And Hibbert with the block. Now here's George. Tight defense on him. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, it's not often you find a player like Paul George who, as tall as he is, can play 2 guard. But when you do, you're going to see some really big numbers in rebounding from him, and that's what George does. He wants to average double-digit rebounds.
Kyle Korver, he's checked in for Demari Kipp. And George drops them both. And Clark, you mentioned the height of Paul George. 6'8" when he was drafted. He actually grew to 6'10" in his rookie season, Steve. So he's a young guy that's continuing to grow both on the floor and physically.
Yeah, he may be 7'2" by his 4th year. I'll tell you, though, he gives you power forward size and rebounding with guard skills. It's easy to see why the Pacers are so excited about him.
Does he remind you of anybody in particular?
They're like Scottie Pippen, early in his career. Maybe not quite as strong as Scottie, but a similar skill set. Kevin, he never gives up on a play. That's what I love about him. He just is one of those guys who will bring effort and energy the entire 48 minutes.
And one other thing about him that you shouldn't fail to appreciate is the presence and impact he has defensively. He can lock you up and wear you down, and that effect really carries over to the rest of the guys.
Horford lays it in without an inch of room around him. Horford's got 14 points for the game. Pacers leading by 11. Hibbert with a screen for Hill. Back to Hibbert. Good work defensively by Millsap.
Well, they need a shot or two to fall here soon. They're only 1 of 4 since the break.
Williams with the ball. He's picked up by Hill. Knocked loose. It's Millsap with the drive. And the pass to Williams. Shot clock at 5. On deep. And it's Roy Hibbert with the rebound. Hibbert's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. George gets a screen from West. George dishes to Hibbert, and the layup is good. Hibbert's got 4 points in the quarter.
Well, the pick worked really well there. Nice job taking it right to the 10 for the layup.
The Hawks last season weren't really a bad offensive team, but they did have one of the more memorable offensive nights, and not for anything positive. In a January game against a tough Bulls team, the Hawks only scored 58 points over the course of the entire game.
Oh, he's going to keep banging those home if you give him that much space.
A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the 3rd quarter. Hill kicks to George. From 15 feet away, kept alive. Another shot and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. Paul Millsap picks one up.
When you're hot, you're hot. And that's certainly been the case for Roy Hibbert. He's got 8 points and 2 rejections.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
Well, he hit his foul shots at about a 74% clip last season.
And Hibbert hits them both. As you said, the Hawks had one of the worst offensive nights, Clark, in the NBA. But overall, we're a solid offensive team right around the middle of the league. Steve just goes to show what can happen when a team goes cold.
Yeah, when you don't have that one guy who you can always lean on to score, there are going to be some nights where everything just misses. And I think that was the case that game against Chicago. It was kind of bizarre, but hey, over the course of 82 games, it's going to happen.
Pacers leading by 12. Just a screen on Teague. Hill kicks to Granger. It's back to Hill. Target from 3-point range. Hawks have gone 3 of 6 in the 3rd quarter. 50% from the field. And Williams, here we go. That's good. Williams has got 18 points. The Pacers have gone 2 of 7 from the field in the 3rd. That leaves room for improvements here. Hill kicks to Granger. Defended by Corbin.
Get there!
A nice shot by Granger. Granger's got 20.
He's their go-to guy, and when he shoots the ball like he has today, that's what the scoreboard usually looks like.
Atlanta calls timeout.
All coaches hate defensively when you give up easy points in the paint. That's inexcusable. So that's the reason for this timeout here.
I think it came down to the fact they were getting beat inside, and that's why the coach called timeout. They were not winning the battle inside.
Korver, good. Pacers leading by 10. Hill with it. Passes to Hibbert. Working on Horford. And it's Hibbert missing.
Great job defending the hoop there.
So important to have good presence defensively inside.
Teague kicks to Corbin. From downtown, here's Horford. No good there, and that would have cut it to single digits. Indiana's gone 0-2 from deep to start things here in the second half. Teague against George. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
Terrific play right there. Great strength to finish through the hip.
That's how you do it, the bump and the bucket.
John Jenkins checked in for Lou Williams. And a chance for just a second now to check out the scoring breakdown for the Pacers.
Well, the great passing we saw in the first half has carried right over into the second.
You know, they're taking care of business in the paint, too. Those are valuable points they've been getting down low.
Teague against Hill. Teague, the pass to Jenkins. Those 3 pointers off the mark. Pacers leading by 13. Granger from outside. Good! Granger's got 5 points in the quarter.
There is no way a player like him can be left wide open like that. Did you pay attention to the scouting report?
Here's Horford. He dishes it to Millsap. Shot's good. Millsap's got 12 in the game.
You know, when he gets the ball that close to the basket, it's almost an automatic 2 points.
Well, the defense has to battle him down there and keep him out of position in the first place. Do your work early.
Pass to Granger. Pocket 6. Rebound, Atlanta.
That's one he knows he should have made.
Teague kicks to Jenkins. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague.
Well, sometimes when you're at a height disadvantage, that's the way to attack. Go right at your defender.
Indiana's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. Back to Granger. Defended by Corbin. Granger, good. Granger's got 25 points in the game.
I like the way they got the ball inside there.
And here is Teague. Outside Millsap. And it's good. 16 points for Al Horford. Now Hill. Hibbert with a screen for Hill. Feeds it to George. Granger outside. No good off the front iron.
You know, Horford missed a big chunk of that 2011-12 season after he tore the pectoral muscle in his shoulder. But he bounced back last season and he arguably had his best year of his NBA career.
And going back to Al Horford, career high last season in minutes played.
Yeah, he averaged a double-double for the first time in his career, Kevin, so that injury didn't give the Hawks pause. They rode Horford more than ever, and he was up to the challenge.
A big step forward once again for Jeff Teague last season. He continued to up his scoring and assist totals and had one of his best years from the free throw line to date.
Left side, George. It's rebounded by Teague. The Hawks trail by 11. Up the floor. Korver, good. Korver's got 20.
That lead pass allowed him to get straight to the hoop without losing any momentum.
And Steve, back to Teague. He's working on that outside shooting, but as a point guard, you know, Clarkie's very effective around the rim. There's in between shots you like so much.
Kevin, I love the arsenal he has, and every point guard needs to have those runners, floaters, flippers, I call them. You've got to have that. You're not always going to be able to get to the rim against such, you know, against bigger guys. And, Steve also mentioned his good free throw percentage, so the more he can get himself to the line, the better for him and his team.
Jenkins dishes to Millsap. They double him with West. Here's Jenkins. Again, the Hawks good for 2.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding. They are piling up the assists.
Granger drives in.
You know, I love watching a guy like Paul Millsap play because he's so efficient in his movement, and he's crafty. He's able to score big numbers on guys much bigger than him.
And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for the Hawks?
Guys, the passing we've seen from them has been tremendous. Very unselfish.
And they're getting so much penetration on the defense that they're getting a lot of easy buckets as a result of breaking down that defense.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Horford comes in for Paul Millsap. And it's Schroeder in for Jeff Teague. And Hill pulls it down.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
Brand with it. Scola covering, backing down his Brand. Tries to save it. And now the fast break here with the ball. And he takes that one up and powers it through.
Guys, that's simply superb. Ball pressure, a run out, and then a dunk in transition.
Exactly, Clark, what they want. The aggressive defense to lead to.
Yeah, points in transition.
Yeah, that's why you want to make the other team feel uncomfortable handling the ball, because you can get easy points out of it at the other end.
5 to shoot. Unloads. Atlanta gets it back.
There's another opportunity, and everything's going right for these guys.
Picked by Horford. Schroeder kicks to Corver. He passes to Schroeder. There's the dish to Jenkins. Offensive rebound, and it's Chris Copeland with the foul. That's his first foul. And the Hawks making a change here. Teague's checked in. Here's Schroeder. He's guarded by Hill. Jenkins the pass to Schroeder. Kicks it to Brand. An easy 2 points on the layup. We've got 1:48 left in the third quarter.
Indiana had perhaps the toughest defense in the league. They just didn't have any weaknesses defensively. If you attacked them inside, they were able to challenge you at the rim. You tried to shoot over them. They were challenging you with their length on the perimeter. And they didn't back down. So it's not a surprise they were near the top in every defensive category.
Pacers leading by 8. Here is Watson. 1:15 left in the third. And so it looks like the Pacers will retain possession here. And Clark, the numbers back up what you were saying about the Pacers. A lot of stat heads will look at opponents' effective field goal percentage as a measuring stick for defense. And the Pacers, Steve, were the best in the league at that.
Well, they pass the eye test, that's for sure, Kevin. I mean, they challenge every shot. They get out to the three-point line. They block shots at the rim. And there's a reason this team was so good at the defensive end.
Jenkins with it. He's picked up by Hill. Jenkins dishes to Teague. 5 on the clock. And Jenkins kicks to Schroeder. For the 3. It's rebounded by Indiana. It's George on the wing. Teague covering. Outside Hill. Granger outside. Indiana again missing.
Well, that defense went from poor to no defense at all.
But you don't see him miss that shot very often. When he's open like that, it's usually lights out.
Teague kicks to Jenkins. A 3-ball. Gets it to go. And now it's only a 5-point Pacer lead.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that guy.
Hill gets a screen from Scola. Alley-oop try. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Pacers lead by 5. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. And thanks for joining us again as the fourth quarter of play is set to get rolling. It's been a close battle to this point. The Hawks trail by 5. Teague kicks to Horford. Back to Teague. Now the feed to Corver. Offline with his 3. The Pacers shooting it up around 51%. They're getting good looks. Johnson outside. Scola sets a screen for Johnson. Granger outside. Back to Johnson. Lets it go with a three. And the shot is good. Johnson's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Pacers. Brand a screen on Hill. A nice shot by Teague.
Ran his man straight into that screen to open the lane up for the hoop.
Pacers leading by 6. Down low, here's Granger. Great D that time from Brand. The Hawks shooting it pretty well, close to 50%. Carroll passes to Courtney. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
For a long time, it's been about getting out and running for Atlanta, and that was really one of the strengths of the team last season as well. Really one of the better teams in fast break points in the league.
And for the Hawks, who are so good on the break, ended up 3rd in the league last year in fast break points. Steve, not a surprise with the athletes that team has.
Yeah, but that's changing, Kevin. With Josh Smith's departure, I think is a big blow. They're not as good in transition anymore, but they do have some exciting young talent, young players you can get out and run. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple of seasons to watch this team unfold.
6 on the shot clock. Granger.
Man, they have to mix it up defensively. That was just too easy.
About a minute and a half through the fourth quarter now. This is the Carroll. Teague a screen on Granger. Carroll kicks to Horford. The finger roll finish at the bucket.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Yeah, that's textbook basketball. Just having their way down low.
It's back to Hill. Hill gets a screen from West. Pass to George. He feeds it to West. 6 to shoot. Defended by Carroll. Here's Hibbert. And he battles for the ball and gets the second chance bucket.
There's been a change in his game compared to what we saw in the first half. And he's scoring with a lot of confidence now.
He kicks it to Korver. Back to Teague. And there's the pass to Jenkins. He dishes it to Teague. From deep three-point range. It's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. Elton Brand's checked in for Atlanta. Indiana leading by 6. Now here is Hill. Outside, George. From deep. Rebound by Elton Brand. Brand's got 9 rebounds in the game. Getting it done. Teague kicks to Brand. They double him with George. Teague with the ball. George picks him up. Teague dishes to Jenkins. Goes back up. Indeed, Brand will drop it in for 2.
They have got to put a body on him, because otherwise, with his agility and athleticism, they're not going to be able to contain him on the offensive line.
Right side, George. Misses off the left iron.
And the fadeaway was about his only option there. Really good defensive position.
Teague, the pass to Brand. Korver in Atlanta again with the bucket. Timeout called the Pacers.
Well, Elton Brand is a former #1 overall pick back in '99, guys. And despite that, was one of the most underrated star players from his days with the LA Clippers. Now he's starting to slow down. He's on the other side of that career mountain, if you will. But he's still a quality big man.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yeah, I was able to hear the advice Frank Vogel gave to his team during that last break. He told the guys that for now, he wants to see them back off the three-point shot, saying all our offense doesn't need to come from perimeter jump shots. Let's get the ball inside for some high percentage looks.
Thank you, Doris. Teague kicks to Jenkins. Back to Teague. Clock at 6. No coverage that time. Teague's got 4 points in the quarter. And Brand always has played bigger than his 6'8" height with those long arms of his.
Yeah, and an underrated defender, Kevin. Offensively, he's always been a very consistent mid-range jump shooter and can score around the basket. But he guards the post pretty well.
West dishes to George. Pass to Granger. Back to George. From deep three-point range. And that one's good. George has got 33 points.
One of the big stories is second chance point. They've just been terrific here in the second half in that area.
Teague, the pass to Jenkins. Defended by George. Horford kicks to Corbin. Out of bounds, Indiana takes possession.
Where was he going with that pass? I mean, that's just an awful turnover.
Atlanta making some changes. Paul Millsap's checked in for Brand. And Lewis Williams subbed in for John Jenkins. The drive by Granger somehow ignores the tight D and gets the layup. Now it's a 7-point Pacer lead. Atlanta's gone 0-3 so far in the fourth quarter from long range. Teague dishes to Williams. Hibbert with the block. And they'll keep possession.
What a performance from Millsap here. He's got 12 rebounds, and he's managed to get 4 of his points by way of the free throw line.
And that may not be the first thing people notice about his performance, but those are important points nonetheless.
So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2.
Well, Millsap, a great signing with the Hawks. 2-year deal, $19 million. You like the skill level, a guy who battles inside, and even when he's at a size disadvantage, he still seems to really prosper.
And you look at the development for Paul Millsap. He's steadily improved as a passer, as a shooter. At the line, his overall game is upward.
He's even starting to shoot more threes these days.
Right.
Kevin. Yeah, he's undersized, but just knows how to use the rim to protect his finish. What I like best about him is just his constant energy.
Teague with the ball. Pass to Corbin. Shoots. And misses it off the right side of the rim. Pacers leading by 8. Hill kicks to George. Indiana moving the ball around. Feeds to West. Indiana again missing.
Well, his shot's been off today, no question. He's not the guy they're going to want to look to if they want to keep this lead where it is. I thought the defense really kind of slacked off there. He's going to drill those threes when he gets a good look.
The Pacers have gone 6 of 13, so just above 46% on their field goal attempts here in the quarter. Now here's Granger, defended by Corbin, and stolen by Horford. For the finish, throws down the breakaway jam.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
The dish to Hibbert. It's back to Hill. He passes to Granger. And the 3 off target. The Hawks trail by 3. And here is Teague. Kicks it to Horford. He's feeling it. And Atlanta again with the bucket. Indiana's gone 2 of 5 on 3-point shots since the end of the third quarter. Hill kicks to George. West outside. Back to George. And you know that's going to be goaltending, guys, so that's a free basket right there.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
Hawks have gone 8 of 13 from the field since the start of the fourth, sinking the majority of their shots. Here's Millsap. Makes it off the glass.
He's come out here in the second half and done a nice job moving, getting good looks, and finding his range.
Hibbert with the screen for Hill. There's the feed to George. Dishes it to Granger. Pass to West. Horford with the block. Here is Korver, covered by Hibbert. Teague can't hit.
Man, excellent interior defense there. Good rotations.
No doubt about it, Steve. He's a real presence inside. Takes up a lot of space.
And George kicks to Hill. Three-pointer. No good. So Atlanta will take it the other way.
They've clearly been the better team on the glass. It hasn't necessarily translated to the scoreboard yet.
But you feel like it's going to reward this team at some point. They've got to continue to maintain the energy.
West a screen on Williams. West inside. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Look out the game for David West. 11 rebounds, and he's also got 1 block to add to the mix today.
Yeah, it's just a small part of what's been a solid overall contribution by him defensively.
And he can't hit the second.
They should be in front right now, but he'll be relieved not to have come up totally empty there.
He feeds it to Korver. Wide open look. Offensive rebound. Millsap passes to Horford. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
Can you hear the crowd kind of murmuring? I don't think they agreed with the officials on that one.
Steve, I tell you what, they're really letting him have it.
That's good.
Nothing too fancy, just simple execution. That's getting the job done when they need to make every possession count.
I agree, Clark. They need stops, and they can't afford any wasted possessions. Those inside shots are really high percentage looks.
Millsap dishes to T. The 11-footer. And the Hawks getting another basket right there.
Well, nothing was going down for him in the first half, but since the break, he's been on target.
Outside for George. Drills it from outside. George has got 40 points.
He's doing it all for them right now on the offensive side. No matter what the defense has done, they haven't been able to find an answer to stop him, and he's had an answer for every defense he's seen.
Here's T. Leads him in there. That is good. And that's now 19 points for Paul Millsap.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Yeah, that's 5 of the last 6 baskets inside the lane. They have really established themselves inside.
George working against Williams. And George, here we go.
That's not an opportunity he fails to convert very often.
Here's the break. Horford. Covered by Hibbert. Horford kicks to T. No good. Excellent D there from Hill. Indiana's gone beyond the arc 7 times here in the fourth and been successful 3 times. Second chance effort. Here's George. Got him with the pump fake. Savvy move right there. George has got 17 now, just in the second half. The Hawks trailing. T kicks to Williams. And that basket's going to cut it close. Gets the goaltending call right there.
Big call, Kevin. He just didn't get there quick enough, and that's a tough break.
Now you can tell what the crowd thinks about that call.
Yeah, they erupted as soon as the whistle blew.
And 101 left in the fourth. And George kicks to Hill. Ranger. Yes! And the foul. And so he's picked up his final foul. And he will sit for the rest of this game. Elvin Brand's checked in for Kyle Korver. The free throw drops for Granger.
Well, you just knew he wasn't going to miss there. Not with so much riding on him.
Time call here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. They're behind by 2. There's 53 seconds left to play in the final quarter. There's Williams. And it's Williams again missing. Pacers shooting 4 around the fourth, around 48%. Now George. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Teague covering. With the fadeaway. Elton Brand grabs the board. Atlanta calls timeout. They're losing by 2. There's 21 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
Well, what do you think, Clark? You go for a 2 or a 3 here?
I don't think you choose one or the other ahead of time. I think you try to take what's available. You get the best shot as quickly as you can.
Here's Williams. It's in! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
And that is the shot of the game.
Well, he's got the guts and courage to take it and the skill to make it.
It's back to Hill. He kicks it to George. On the wing, Granger for three. Right between the eyes. So a close game sees Indiana take this one.